Hey everybody, so here it is, the sit down with Grant Bowers.
Hi.
He is just incredible. I mean, I can't even tell you how amazing he is at his makeup.
Thank you.
I mean, he's like my new little, my best friend in makeup. I like to pick his brain about it. But I wanted to sit down and just share with you guys about this makeup. And so I was just telling him, I'm like, I feel like Oprah, because...
Right? Yeah.
Because it's like a sit down with someone who knows what's up. Guys, we launched this makeup. If you're in Young Living right now, you know that we did it, in June? And so when I'm going to back up. I was a matte girl forever. And so when Young Living came out with this makeup, I only trusted it because it was Melissa Pepping, and she's fabulous at all things beauty. So I thought, okay, good, we're going to get all this makeup. And then we got it, and I'm like, it's a powder, and I'm used to my little thing, and my...
Yeah, the Studio Fix.
And so, as luck and God would have it, enter Grant. So I thought, let's just sit down, all of us who use this makeup, and for those of you guys who don't, if you're just like a diehard matte girl, and you love that, listen, let us school you on it and share with you why you definitely want to consider using some Savvy. What?
No, yeah, I was going to say right.
I'm like, I feel like you need to say, hey, pause, let me get it.
No, you're fine. Just a really quick background about me. I've been with MAC for 2 years. I am an artist with them right now. And yeah, I've been doing makeup for about 7 years. I've been with the brand for 2 years. I started in LA. I've assisted some fashion shows. I've done a few things, here and there and few and far between. But a lot of times people don't want that overly glam, over heavy makeup, especially, as a lot of people nowadays, not just in makeup, I feel like are living more of a very holistic, simple kind of a lifestyle. Like everyone's starting to get towards the more vegan and the more natural and those kind of things like that. And I think this makeup is a really good start for those of you who maybe love MAC, but you're like, I'm looking for something that's a little bit better for my skin, or I'm looking for something that's a little bit more, efficient for me. And the prices of these are also really nice, and you get a lot of product in there. So yeah, that's kind of my background, and we'll get into more of a little bit, a little bit later, but you want to just...
and so just like, if you're not familiar with the Savvy Minerals at all, here's the thing, guys, and you know me, you guys have all watched my videos about Zion having cancer, about us going chemical free, and all of that, because of the cancer, because all my kids are, let me back up. They could be prone to having the same cancer that he had. So we've removed all the chemicals. And for me, I guess it was a year ago when my friend Shelly said, hey, that's lead on your lips, like, the MAC. My favorite color. I'm like, what?
Honestly, I had no idea, to be honest, either. And because I work for the brand, but I don't go to a factory. I'm not in production, and it's important to know, just things that, and even people have allergic reactions to even natural products. That just goes to show every single one of our skin types is different.
Right.
What works for us is not going to work for you. But what's inclusive and nice about this brand is everything does work for everybody.
Right, absolutely. And so when you look at it, when you start looking, like I've been making him do every time we've talked, I'm like, Grant, let's look it up on the Think Dirty app. When we talk about different, like my favorite lip color was like a 9 in the MAC line. And all that means, you guys, if you don't have the Think Dirty app, just download it, it's free, but you can look up your makeup, it's Clinique, even Origins, it's organic, but they still have fragrance.
Right. Well, they're all owned. Origins, MAC, Estee Lauder, they're all sister companies. So MAC is owned by Estee Lauder, Origins is owned by Estee Lauder. We're all made sort of similar. I mean, it's not the exact same product, but a lot of people come out with natural brands, and they have green tea in them, but all these chemicals. So the green tea is what sells it, because everyone thinks, it's natural, but it's really not. And that happens with a lot of facial cleansers, like that happens with a lot of products in general. And what I was just talking about before we hopped onto this video is this brand is built from the ground up. So like literally, so everything in the makeup that's going on your face, if it gets in your eye, it has no dye in it. So you don't need to worry about going blind, You don't need to worry about having an allergic reaction or about and lips are an important thing for me. You eat with your lips, you lick your lips throughout the day, you're talking, that lipstick's gonna get in your mouth. And if it's a chemical in your mouth over time, it's just not going too good for you. I'm a hypocrite because obviously I still work for the brand. I love MAC, but I'm an artist, and that's what, that's what fuels me. But honestly, I have so many people who I hear nowadays wanting to change, wanting to step over. A lot of my friends have turned vegan, and a lot of my friends are using bare minerals, things like that. Other brands that claim to be mineral and are mineral but mostly toxin,
Right, where they have a little extra. Listen, if you want to talk about hypocrite, I'll just totally confession time. This will be like our confessional booth. This hair color, it ain't natural, people. Let's be real. This is like the chemical that I'll live and die with because no one wants to see me gray.
No.
Right?
Well, also like natural hair day, I just feel like, what is that? Like a plant? It's just not going to dye your hair.
After doing hair for 20, well, I would say 100 years, for 100 years, like I've seen the hennas, I'm like, ooh.
Right.
That doesn't look good. So, okay. Oh my gosh, we were talking about everything we were going to talk about. You want to just tell them?
Yeah, so honestly, what I'm going to do, because I'm in class mode, I've been in a class all day for training, so I literally could just sit there and talk about makeup and color ranges for 8 hours. But we don't have 8 hours. So I'm just going to jump in and show you some of the products. First of all, my hands down favorite out of the whole line is going to be the misting spray, simply because you don't have to wear makeup in order to use it. So this is a 3-in-1.
Oh wait, really fast, I'm going to totally interrupt. Yeah. Remember the other day when we met and you had that bad cold? Tell them what you said about that, what you would do, how you would have spritzed your face to give you...
Oh, you can put this in the fridge, and when you're really stuffy, since this has no chemicals in it and it has things that are really nice and hydrating for the skin, when you're really dry around that nasal area or around the lip, your skin just dries out when you're sick because there's no, there's not enough in your body to really pump up and fight. So this is really nice because it's actually doing your skin a favor and doing your body a favor. And all of this right here, actually, I did that, and then I did another oil that was like in a little rub-on under my nose, and that actually really helped a lot. So this will help you for more than just setting your makeup or adding hydration. But the things I just said, it does do. So setting your makeup and adding hydration, the best thing about this is the fact that it contains a product called glycerin. Glycerin is an adherent to the skin, so if you spray this on your face before you put on your makeup, obviously if we're going in with a liquid, it's going to have a little bit more of a staying powder than just straight up powder. This brand doesn't have a liquid yet, so we have powder. And the way to make the powder stick on is by using this guy right here. This is your primer, and then you would go in and just apply the foundation. Now, in a second, when I start talking about the foundation, I'll get into how to apply it to get the best coverage and achieve the look that you want. But after you've applied that too, you can also spray this all over the face, and that sinks the powder into the skin. So normally when you put on powder, it's not naturally going to absorb into the skin like a liquid, so it just sits on the top, and that's where you get the term cake face. And it's not really, that cute. It looks like powder puff, and So you would just spray this all over, and then it will seep into the skin and give you a nice skin-like finish.
So, like, I know one time when we were up at the house, there was a gal who was older, like in her 60s, and she was afraid she was going to get that line.
Like a creasing?
Right, and then we did this on her with, matched her up, and that didn't happen. It actually made her look really, really, it smoothed out her lines.
Well, and normally people have this perception of liquid and creams being crease-free, and liquid and creams can look disgusting. Like, liquid and creams are going to settle into your lines unless you set it with a powder. They're going to crease, they're going to fall off your face. So powders, unless you're very dry, which even if you are, just hydrate really nicely. Use a moisturizer, use a nice face wash, make sure you can use essential oils on the face that'll really help, like orange blossom, all that stuff will really boost your skin's hydration, and then go in with the powder. It's not a drying powder either. It's very fine and it's very buildable.
Right.
So the texture of it is very buttery. It's not like a thick, kind of like a MAC Studio Fix powder, which is my favorite. I'm just gonna throw it out. But it's a foundation powder, and that is it can be a cakey consistency. So people with really oily skin live for it because it absorbs that oil and it looks flawless throughout the day. This is really nice because it's loose, so you choose your coverage. You're not going in with the full coverage powder when you just want a little. I also like that you can use this as a foundation. You can also use it, maybe you're someone who is like, I like that, but I want a little bit more coverage. Maybe you want to keep using the liquid foundation that you have, but set this over the top of it. Because when I was doing a little class seminar a couple times, the thing I noticed about this more than a lot of other brands I've worked with is how smooth it made the skin appear. And
Seriously.
and not just in photos. Like in person, it looks better than it does in photos, which is what you want. So I would definitely pick this up for that reason. And also use it as your foundation. I mean, you're wearing it right now, and her skin looks great.
Yes, it does.
And she did mix it, if you are dry and you're afraid of powders, she did mix it with the Diamond Dust, which we'll find in a second.
Well, I'll find it. It was here. Oh, here it is.
Hey, okay.
I'm like, do you want to open it?
Yeah. So this is the Diamond Dust, and it has like a really beautiful kind of icy, iridescent, purpley pink shift to it. But you don't really notice that on the face. You just notice that nice gleam, that nice glow to the skin. I don't even know if you're going to be able to really see that. Yeah, you can kind of see that. And then I'll try to swatch it. My hands are clean today, imagine that. It doesn't swatch that well right now. But if you mix,
you just see the iridescent part of it.
If you mix like 2 parts of the foundation and 1 part of that, that'll give you that glow, especially when you're using this before and after. So there's a lot of different solutions. I'm sorry, I'm like blowing your mind right now.
That's
I'm,
okay,
like,
it's on video. They
1,000 miles an hour.
They can rewatch it.
So yes, those are really helpful. If you're dry, you're gonna want to pick up your foundation shade, and you're gonna want to pick up the Diamond Dust. And if you're oily, you're gonna want to pick up the foundation for sure, and the Diamond Dust is up to you. Because we don't naturally produce oil in the region where you would highlight, which is the top of the cheekbone. So I would pick this up too, unless you're just like, nope, no shine, not at all on my face, which is understandable. Some people are like that. So there's also,
like, I don't understand those people.
Right, I don't either. I'm like, I get oily in the T-zone, and I'm like, let's put more highlighter on, you know?
Let's just make that
Let's look like a glazed donut, yeah. So we have 3 different ranges of shades for the foundation. Not 3 colors, 3 ranges. So it goes from cool, and then it goes to warm, and it goes to dark. So there's kind of a really nice selection for everyone, and I'm sure that they're going to expand the longer that the brand exists. They just came out, so cut them some slack.
Right. Cut us some slack, please.
And it is, you know, a standalone brand. It's not like a MAC where we have a production team and we strategically place a product and it's in production and then it's out and we got 40 shades. Because there's no pre-existing shades like MAC already has where you just have to reformulate the product and have the same shades. So we have a dark one all the way to a dark 4. And then I think we have a cool, do they all go to 4 or is it just 3?
No, it's just like warm through
warm 1 through 3,
yeah.
Cool 1 through 3, and then dark 1 through 4.
Right.
So if you're dark, that's really good because a lot of brands are not diverse in that area. And the darks are really beautiful. They have a nice golden undertone, which I like because most people can work with the golden undertone, but cannot work with an orange and red undertone. What I also like about this is if you get a darker person, like a woman of color, they have a really beautiful skin tone, but sometimes things can go ashy on them. Most of my clients at work are women of color. So if you look really quickly, I'm just trying to get a little bit of a good swatch on there. That's one of the dark shades. So that's pretty, I'm also the color of snow. But that is pretty dark right there. And they look really beautiful. You can also mix your shade. So what I've also done in the classes that I've taught with this makeup is mixing the shades is going to be your holy grail because sometimes you just, even in brands that are just now coming out, Rihanna's new brand, Women of Color Catered, MAC, you know, all of these brands that are out still, sometimes people just have that undertone, they can't find their shade, which is fine. So what you do is you want to mix, and eventually you might have to do a trial and error, but that's why we're here. You know, always, I'll give you guys also my social media. Towards the end of this, I'll probably comment it on there. And you can follow me. Feel free to direct message me or email me or anything like that if you have any questions about it, like on your shade. I can normally nowadays, proud, but I used to not be able to, but now I can look at a photo of someone and be like, you're this and this.
That's why I'm hair color.
So people walk in the door and they're like, are you sure? And then I'm like,
you've arrived.
Yeah. I'm like, put it on. And they put it on, they're like, this is not, oh. It works. And I'm like,
I told you.
Told you. So yeah, you might have to mix because some shades are a little bit more neutral, which is like more of that purpley kind of blue undertone, which I know makes no sense. But then some undershades are more yellow gold, which makes a lot more sense, I know. So sometimes you have to mix that neutral and the gold to get a little bit of both, especially in the darker shades. The cooler shades, when in doubt, and now if you are fair, like, I think I'm fair, but if you are really fair, opt for the Cool 2, because the Cool 1 is honestly the color of this wall.
That is so true.
So
I don't know anyone that
I think it's cool that they came out with a shade that light. So I would do Cool 2 all the way. I can't even focus, I'm like looking at these flyaways and I'm like, stop.
Hey, rein it in.
So yeah, Cool 1 is nice, but it's really, really fair. So then you would move on to Cool 2. And then Cool 3 is for those of you who are like, I think I could be a warm, but I'm not quite there yet. That's Cool 3. Now, Cool 3, if you're like uneducated as far as what the undertones are, I get it. When I first started makeup, I was like, cool who? What? Yellow what? Cool is going to be more of that pink undertone, and warm is going to be more of that pink-orange undertone. So the cools are normally more yellow-based, but in this brand they're more pink, which is fine, but the warms are definitely more on the golden orange undertone side, which is fine. They don't look like you got a bronzer in the wrong shade, but they are definitely more warm. So if you say like maybe you're someone who likes, I had a lady in the last class that I did, she said, well, I spray tan, so I like to look a little bit more tan.
Sorry, I get all upset about the chemicals. Don't even talk to me about
spray tan.
I know you do.
Well, now it's in a bottle. It's not an actual spray.
He hasn't completely converted. Okay, we need to finish.
Not at all. I've been fair in my own colored skin for about 2 weeks now, so.
Okay, back to that.
Yeah, so you can also
mix. The lady that spray tans.
Yeah, the lady that spray tans. If you're someone who fake tans, or if you're someone who lays out, we're getting into the more winter ones, so I don't think that's going to happen, but some people like to look more tan in photos too. Mix one of the cool shades with one of the warm shades. So like if you're a cool 3, go with the warm 2. If you're, a cool 2, go with the warm 1. If you're a cool 1, you probably don't want to mix the warm. But this is just more so for people who want that tan kind of a look without necessarily going crazy on the bronzer.
Which I did that after that first time when I met up with you. I did, because I normally use Cool 3, so I mixed Cool 3.
I have no idea where to start.
I know, it's so hard. I did Cool 3, but then after seeing you, I mixed the Warm 2, which I love because it gives me it's really more my color.
Right.
It gives me a little bit of that olivey undertone that I need.
Because you definitely have that like middle of the road warm, could also be a cool in between, which is fine. Most people are not made to just be one undertone, like it's skin. Just like your hair isn't always in the same color.
That was the one thing that I thought, just again, because I was so new to minerals. I didn't understand that when, again, my MAC was like, just there's my mask and I'm good to go.
Same.
Right? But, I know, look at the difference between us. He's like, looks like he has one of those masks on and I look more natural.
She's shady.
Anyway, no, but you said that the cool thing about mineral is that it picks up with your natural skin tone. So like he and I could put on the same shadow. Like we were just messing around with our new shadows that are in the holiday, the mini.
You just go buy them.
Right?
The shadows, like I'm shook. Yeah, we'll talk about those in a second, but continue.
Oh, just that it picks up with your pigment. Like my daughter and I were wearing this lip gloss. We were both wearing the same color, but obviously it looked different. And I mean, I know that's just a no-brainer, but when I thought about how the foundations, it's just different. Like I can't say like you and I would wear the same. Even if we did wear the same, it's going to look different because we have different undertones.
Right.
I hope that makes sense.
When you blend in the foundation, it mixes in with your natural skin tone. Now, certain foundations have technology in them to where once they get on the skin, they'll look super light, and then you'll look in the mirror and it'll be your color all of a sudden because it warms up to your skin. These, they blend into your skin. I mean, obviously you have to pick the right shade, but what's cool about it is there's a lot of leeway. So sometimes people in the last class that I taught, they're like, oh, I bought the wrong color. And then I'm like, no, you just need to mix it. Or maybe you thought you bought the wrong color because of the way you're applying it. So something with these powders is they're not full coverage, but they are medium coverage for sure. And they can also be almost no coverage and just give you that very nice veil, flawless, smooth skin. So it kind of depends what you're going for. The best way to apply them is I like to take a fluffy brush, and it doesn't need to be like too big. I prefer one that has kind of a slant to it. And then honestly, I just screw off the top of this. I use what's in because it is a powder. So a lot of it does come out on the top, and if not, I just sprinkle what I do need into the top of the unit, take the brush, and then just stamp it. Since it's a powder, it's not like a pressed powder like a Studio Fix from MAC to where it already has that pigment in that color to where if you swirl it on your face, there's still hella coverage. You're gonna have to really kind of work with it at first, which is why I say this is key, because it helps that powder that you put down, even if you do swirl, stick, versus you're wasting your product because you're like, it's just going right off my face, you know?
What did you say? Like, I think you talked a little bit about application, but before we got on, you said something about it's not that it's not good makeup, not this makeup, but any makeup.
It's not the product, it's how you're applying the product. It's how you're using it. And some people just want products to not work, which is fine. I've definitely had my brands that have just irritated me, and then I'm like, well, this sucks. And then I'll go back and I'll use it, and I'll be like, well, this is good, but I don't want to say it's good. So, sometimes people are like, honestly, the first time I used this, I was like, And then the more that I got familiar with using, I'm a makeup artist too, the more that I even struggled with it at first, but the more that you use it, the more you're like, hey, I really like the way that this works on me, and I think I can make it work for every day. That's what you want to look at, is every day. Because my clients are everyday glam, like full face, they want that. Not, the whole world rarely wants that, So every day, this is so manageable, and I think having that nice fluffy brush, I literally just stamp it. I stamp it into the skin, and what that does when you have this is it makes the powder stick so that then when you go to swirl, it doesn't all come off. Which is, that's probably my favorite thing about it, is that these two together, so I'm saying you have to figure out the way to work with the product. This spray also enhances like the metallics in the collection, and I will show you for holiday. They came out with some really, really pretty shades that have me just like a little shook. So that's one of them, and I'll swatch it right here. So it's like this kind of like gold. Oh, that looks good.
That does look good.
It's like, I think like Swatch Master. So it's like gold iridescent. Now, when I spray my finger with the spray, because it has that glycerin and because it's wet, and because these are loose shadows, you can get crazy color payoff, because what this is going to do is bind it almost as if it was a pressed shadow and liquefy that color so it can literally look like really metallic.
Oh my word, I love
that. Yeah, so right now I'm just going to, and that's the difference that you get.
And it looks okay there, but it looks
There's
so
that one, and then
good.
there's that one.
Oh, I love that. Okay,
So,
that's in that holiday. It's called Cheers, you guys. If you already do Young Living, let me just tell you right now.
And also, all these things are going to sell out. Like, I can tell you that because I know that Young Living stocks, but they don't stock, And I'm not gonna sleep on those. I'll probably get those too. And there's also like a really pretty green one, which I have earlier swatched right there. It looks black right now, but I'll re-swatch it a little bit later. And then there's like a nice champagne color, and there's also kind of like this iridescent kind of like gray shade.
Yeah, they can't really see
yeah, I can't really see it that well, but I mean, that speaks for itself.
That is beautiful.
If you're gonna grab one, I would get that one. Because that to me just like speaks Christmas.
It does speak Christmas. I love that. Okay, this is my favorite right
here. Are you right? I'm like, okay. So this is a new lip gloss that came out. It's called Rockin'. It's for the holiday collection. If you can see, I don't know if you can see that, but it almost has a purple iridescent undertone to it, but it's a red. But this is the kicker.
I'm telling you.
So it has a little LED light in it, and then it also has a mirror. So if you're in an area where you don't want to whip out a compact, or you're at a stoplight, or it's dark, which or it's
dark and you're at a stoplight.
How many times have you has it been dark and you need to reapply? I mean, I don't know if that happens to everyone, but that's like a really big issue for me. And I mean, the color.
Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Can you see that?
It's like a red wine kind of color. But Jen's wearing it today, and she has kind of a brown liner with it. And you can really, you can even blot the lips if that's too much color for you, if you want that kind of bitten effect. And the former lip glosses that we had were more like a chocolate peppermint scent. And these are more of like a green tea kind of spa peppermint scent. So they're also going to give the lips, because they have peppermint, they're going to give them a little bit of a plumping feel, but not like that burning, sensation, but it's a very cooling, nice kind of lush feel on the lip. So I like those. And then the only really other things that we, have to talk about are some of the lipsticks, and then just the blushes and the bronzers, which we can tackle real quick.
I was going to say, because we probably better.
Yeah.
Oh, hustle up, yeah. We're keeping them a long time.
The lipsticks, and I think there's 2 shades, right?
There's 4.
So there's 4 shades. I'll let you guys go ahead and, for the sake of time, go online and take a look at them. The thing I want to mention about the formula is that they're very buildable. So they go on almost like a lip balm. And even the dark shades that are going to scare you, she's pretty dark. But when I swatch her, she's not that crazy. And you can really blend these out too, and with the gloss over top, these are so pretty.
They are really
And I bet they're
pretty.
long wearing too, I haven't tested them. And they're very moisturizing on the lip, and they have a really nice, they have like a slippy feel, but they're not gonna like slip off your lip.
Right. And when they first came out, because I thought they were, because I really like a dark lip. And so my matte colors that,
With that too.
I know, I love that. My dark color, I was honestly disappointed because I thought, oh, what am I going to do? And then I found, where is it? My dark, oh yeah, the Multitasker. I was just messing around with it. And
It's
with
another great product.
yeah, with like a little lip liner, we went ahead and just got it wet. You can see how it's just trashed. But I would get it wet, and I made like a nice little lip liner. I can make it real thick, or I can make it real thin, and then just put a gloss or a thing over it, and it looks like a MAC knockoff, but better.
I mean, yeah, we have MAC knockoffs, but oftentimes they'll kill you because there's so many chemicals.
Right. It's not going to kill me.
Right, no, and I really do like the Multitasker. You can wet it and get a really dramatic effect. You can use it in the brows, you can use it as eyeliner, as a dark eyeshadow. And then the bronzers, there's two shades. There's Crowned All Over and Summer Loved. Now, these bronzers do have a little bit of sheen to them, but when you apply them, it's not like glitter, which I don't personally like, because when you're bronzing the outsides of your face, in the makeup world they call it the perimeter, you're trying to, the reason you bronze like the forehead, the sides of the nose, all of the sides of the cheekbones is because where would the sunlight naturally hit you? Right there. But the sunlight would naturally hit you with a crap ton of glitter right there, you know? So what I like about these is that they are sheer and they're very buildable, but they're not too orange, they're not too red, and they're not incredibly like shimmery. And so these work really, really nicely, especially corresponding with the blushes. The last time I did a demo for one of the classes, I used, which one did I use? I actually used this one.
Smashing?
Yeah. And I used this one, and she was a warm 3, so she was a tan girl, but it gave her like this, you know, kind of like cranberry flushed bronze look, and it's really beautiful. So honestly, the more products that you accumulate, the more fun you're gonna have, because makeup has no rules, and that's something I've said for forever, and anyone will tell you that. Just sit there and dip your brush and whatever, and all of a sudden you'll find these combinations, and you're like, I can't live without it, I love it. And if there's a certain product from another brand that you don't want to use because you're going down a more natural path, you can create your own shades, and you're like, maybe you have a favorite blush, maybe you have this, and you're like, well, that's not giving it to me, and then you mix it all of a sudden, you're like, it's giving it to me.
Right.
So, you know,
Yeah.
just explore the brand, and if you have any questions, like I said, I'll link my social media, and we'll probably do another one of these soon, but hopefully this is helpful, for sure.
Yes, thank you guys for watching, and thank you, Grant, for taking the
Yeah,
time
no,
to
you're
sit
fine.
down. I feel like sit down with J instead of O for Oprah, right? I always wanted to be her.
So did I, too, but like, we don't, you know, you get one of these, and
We can't just be making it
yeah,
rain with
we
lip gloss.
can't make it rain with these, because they'll sell out.
Yeah, we're not going to do
Especially this, guys, really quickly, just before we do, like, get off. This is going to sell out, and they just restocked, and you had a really good plan. If you have, like, any
So
guy
true.
friends that you know aren't going to use it, pay them back, because you can only order one per membership, so pay them back and have you buy them.
Yeah, any guy that you have, and here's me. This is worth getting your guy friends to sign up just so that you can get this, right?
Right, and if they don't, then they're bad friends.
Right, that's what we keep telling Neil. He just needs to buy it and give it to us.
Right.
All right, guys, go ahead and post your questions if you have any for Grant. We'll definitely, we can answer those for you, but I hope this was helpful. I hope you guys consider making the switch from your chemical, or I shouldn't say chemical, toxic makeup. If you are a MAC lover like I was, you guys, this is so simple to use, and it's gorgeous. I mean, it really is. And
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at that gold color on his hand. I want to go home and redo my makeup now and then go to bed.
Really quickly, someone said, will this be available to reply later? Yeah, the live video should be there for a little bit.
Oh,
It won't
yeah.
stay till tomorrow, but you should be able to watch it later tonight.
For sure, for sure. All right, guys, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, see you guys later. Bye, everybody.